It's the final day of our racing weeks before the Split 1 finals. We're the Drone Champions League, and with these teams and myself, Matt Andrews, it's time to see who's going to the Split 1 finals in Abu Dhabi. Two different matchups for you today. Raiden Racing will be kicking things off with their team of Matteo, Vicen Mayan, IQ0 and Valprim. The former world champions would love a Split 1 title. SDT have been top of our leaderboard and ahead of Raiden for most of the splits so far. Surprisingly, they brought in a new pilot. It's Shock, with Silvio, Danube and Clone Number 1. Then Quad Force 1, our team from America, have Amari, Propsicle, Leviathan and Hyper, a lineup we've seen perform for them many times this split. They're in a close mid-table battle with the China Dragons. This team are under a bit of pressure to move up the leaderboard. They're going to try and do it with Ion, Gabri, Mojo and Creator Gamer. And if we take a look at the standings, you'll see why. The top 6 teams go to our Split 1 finals. The top 4 get an advantage. The China Dragons really want to get past Quad Force 1. Mathematically, they can do it. Here's how. The matchups are 3 races. 2 pilots from each team will race each other. Then the other 2 against each other. And then the big heat, where all 8 pilots fly at the same time. You get 4 points for winning a race, then 3 for second, 2 for third, 1 if you come in 4th place. Then we add up the scores from the 3 races. The team that get the most gets 3 points for the win. With that, SDT could pass Raiden at the top of our leaderboard. China Dragons could catch Quad Force 1. They want to do so because the top 6 go to our finals in Abu Dhabi. The top 4 get an advantage there. They go into the main round, where first will play 4th and second will play 3rd. But the 5th and 6th place teams, they go into the elimination bracket. You only have 1 life there, whereas the teams in the main round have 2. Lose a match, you lose a life. So the teams in 5th and 6th and in the elimination zone, one of them is going out straight away. Before that though, let's do race day 7. It's in Vaduz, in Liechtenstein, with the 19th century St. Florence Cathedral as a big dive early on in the lap. Then some very tight and twisting sections over rooftops around pylons. This DCL gate, then duck under that hurdle, and this one. This is the government of Liechtenstein. We go over it and around the back of it through this car park with 2 Foxeer gates. Back to the rooftops, and then this dive is tricky. Many pilots crash trying to turn too soon after. That's the corkscrew over the Parliament building, then the block trade duo. Before more twisting and then a tight turn under the Genfan banner there, then another tight turn the opposite direction under the bridge. Up here a hard 180 and then through this massive slalom on both sides of the main street through Vaduz. Then you start the next of the 4 laps. So for the top of the tree of Split 1 for 2024, it's Raiden Racing against SDT. Let's send it to the sky with Vicen Mayan, Matteo for Raiden, Shock and Silvio for SDT. What pressure on all of these pilots, wanting to show that their team is the best. Raiden have had that title before and have been the world champions twice. SDT have never been on top of our leaderboard. Can they get on top for the end of Split 1? Well, it's a good start from Silvio. Shock is putting in a great performance in his first race as well. Vicen Mayan just passed by Silvio, and they're going to scrap and pass that lead back and forth between Mayan and Silvio. Then it's Matteo and Shock doing well in 4th in his first race. Silvio leading his way already towards the first slalom at the end of the first lap, and Mayan is with him. Silvio, Mayan, less than 1/10 of a second between these 2 really experienced, brilliant pilots, and we'll go for the St. Florence Cathedral dive again. Everybody cleanly out of that. Now the rooftops is good. Shock is just starting to slip behind in his first race for SDT in the DCL though. Into the car park, it's just 3 drones at the moment. Shock trying to keep up. In 4th, it's still Silvio. Mayan's at 0.003 of a second between those 2. 1,000th, I mean you just can't split them. barely anything between these two pilots, both of them giving as good as the other. Under Gemfan, the right-hand turn to flip it under the bridge. It's Silvio back in the lead and makes the turn into the slalom, only this time it's just him, isn't it? It's Matteo now in second, 2.5 seconds or so behind Silvio. Mayan is 2.5, maybe 3 seconds behind him. It's all gone wrong for the star pilot of Raiden. It's his teammate Matteo who's got to do anything about Silvio getting away at the front. Shock, maybe too far behind Mayan to do anything about taking third place from him. Matteo, on the other hand, you can see Silvio, he feels like he's closer than he actually is. That turn has ruined so many racers' lines in the last couple of race days. Mayan passes Matteo up into second. But Silvio is still cleanly away and just further in front now. This is great flying from him, but here's the charge from the best finisher in the DCL, Vicen Mayan, who is so good at chasing down leaders, and you can see he's really going for it now as we start the final lap here. Silvio has been so clean though, and when he's raced this track earlier on in Split 1 of 2024, he was beautifully clean flying around it as well. He doesn't look like he can get anything wrong here, not a prop out of place. It's going to take something absolutely incredible to catch him. There's Mayan getting through the gate that caught Matteo on the charge before. And here's Silvio, who's just so quick and smooth out in front. Just absolutely dialed in. It's glorious. It's beautiful flying from Silvio out of SDT. Mayan's is a little bit more aggressive as he needs to be, but he's not going to catch that drone and the 4 points that go to SDT. Then it's Mayan's and Matteo in shock after that.
It's okay, good job.
Good man, Silvio gets the win for his team and is also encouraging his new teammate Shock. Needs to keep his confidence up for the big heat that'll be coming soon. Silvio had that race dialed in, and SDT are on such good form this season, in big part thanks to him. Here's this dive and difficult turn. There's Mayan's making a good pre-turn for it. A little bit of correction afterwards. That's the one that claimed Matteo. No problems for Silvio. So the first race is won by SDT. Now Valprim and IQ0 will take on Danube in clone number 1. And as you see, although SDT won that race, they also got 4th place. That makes it 5 points for them. And the other 5, they were all Raidens. Good, solid start for everybody. Less than a tenth of a second. All 4 of them around the rooftops, now heading to the government building climb. Duck under the hurdle around the back and into the car park. All 4 drones there. Danube at the front. IQ and Valprim behind both of the SDT pilots at the moment. This is clone number 1, who's in 2nd place. He only joined SDT this season after many years with China Dragons. He was definitely a great performer for China Dragons. I can understand why SDT would want to pick up James Govey. The slalom looking busy for everybody. IQ0 keeping his focus, going up into the lead. That's good flying from him. There's Danube just passing him at the start of lap number 2. Out of St. Florence Cathedral's dive. And now this weaving and twisting section where you have to go through this gate and duck under a couple of hurdles. Valprim just having to adjust for one of them. Nearly didn't make it under the hurdle, sticking out from the back of the government building. That's lost him about 0.4 of a second. Back at the front, IQ0, his teammate, still trying to catch Danube, and there's only 1 second between everybody. Such good battling, such good flying. Danube and IQ0 is going to be really hard to split them, and now as we head back into the slalom towards the end of lap number 2, you can see all 4 of them still in the chase here. IQ0 sees Danube swinging around in front of him, goes past him like he did a lap ago. Can he hold the lead this time? This is where Danube got back in front of him. IQ0 is so close to the lead and just about there still with Danube as they're now weaving where Valprim bumped on the previous lap, but not this time. And Valprim has gained quite a few tenths. Everybody now within about 1/4 of a second of each other. Oh, is anybody going to break? There's the turn which causes some pilots some problems, and clone number 1 is the first one to struggle. He's fallen way behind in 4th place. Danube and IQ0 still scrapping at the fronts. Still Danube just with an edge over IQ0 as they go into the slalom. He's been ahead of him each time, but IQ0 catches him. Not in the slalom, but in these turns afterwards. Can he do it again? It's still 1/4 of a second between the 2 of them. IQ0 turns a little bit earlier into the dive at the start of lap number 4, and he's not any closer to Danube out of there. Meanwhile, Valprim has dropped a little further behind in 3rd. Clone number 1 is surely staying in 4th. It's Danube and IQ0 for the win here, and if it finishes as it is with Danube in front, it's going to be another 5 points all race that neither team wanted. Can Danube hold on this relentless charge from IQ0, who's 1/100th of a second behind him now? Danube turns, just saw IQ0 just on the inside of him. There he is. They go into the slalom. IQ0 is in the lead of the slalom for the first time and the last time of this race.
Yeah! Ah, no!
Woo! Danube is gutted to miss out on that one. IQ0 is elated. The only time he flew into the slalom ahead of Danube was when he needed to fly into the finish gate afterwards. What a time to do it. And IQ0 seemed to have this bit of the course just a little bit faster than Danube of STT, but for most of the race, Danube was the one being chased. IQ0 had that green drone in his vision throughout. And it's this finish which meant that that wasn't another 5 points all matchup. Now it's the DCL big heat. Everybody flies, all 8 pilots, and Raiden go into this with a slight lead. So STT have to outscore the team in yellow by at least 2 points. IQ0 fancies another win. He's the first one into the St. Florian Cathedral dive. Everybody else within about 0.4 of a second, thereabouts, now under the hurdles. No problems for anyone at that stage. Around the government building, drones in and out of your peripheral vision everywhere. A real test to focus this, and this is this horrible turn that some pilots have struggled with. Danube, he's out in front again. He's the only one with clear vision at the moment. Everybody else got a lot of company. It's starting to fall apart a little bit for Shock and Matteo at the back, but Silvio is here. Valprim just swings across him. Danube is around this battle too. Is Valprim as quick as IQ0 in this section? Maybe a little bit quicker. It's Valprim who starts lap number 2 first. IQ0 very much with him, and Silvio and Danube. Vicen Mayan pushing his way past a couple of pilots too to stay in the shout. Never count him out. It's good close flying to the building. It's tight flying across the car park. Silvio chasing down Valprim. Mayan up into third, IQ0 behind him. Valprim corkscrewing over the roof, a little bit of a correction afterwards, only just through the block trade duo. He might have lost a little bit of time, but there's somebody ready to take advantage of it. Silvio charged past him and is just leading him now into the slalom on lap number 2. Valprim's taking it much tighter along the inside and has passed Silvio, who's much wider, but he's got no vision of that turn. Oh, he pre-turned, but he was heading at it almost side on. And Valprim's at the back and surely out of this race. Oh, he had the lead, he was quick in the slalom, but he is 6 seconds behind. Now it's down to Vicen Mayan for Raiden and IQ0 in support of him as they try and get past Silvio, who's back out in the front. That's a better corkscrew, you can see he didn't have to correct it. Still nice and tight on all of the turns following it, no problem for him, but Mayan is alongside him. Here's the view of him as he tries to get past him on the slalom. Can he make it tight on the inside? He does! Like Valprim did just now, but Silvio's giving it a little bit better. So tight on that turn, he lost a bit of time to Silvio, which is why we start lap number 4 with Silvio back in the lead by about 0.2 of a second over Mayan and IQ0. Clone number 1 is in 4th. It's 5 points all if we finish this lap like we started. You can't have that if you're STT in green. Silvio's doing what he can. He needs his teammates to move up. Mayan, though, will not give this one to Silvio easily, and Silvio maybe not quite so smooth there, and Mayan takes advantage of it. Yes, Silvio was just a little bit hesitant over the rooftop. This is the view of Vincent Mayan, who just sees Silvio get back in front of him. Oh, who will it be at the finish? It's Silvio into the slalom. It's Silvio out of the slalom. A better final turn. Silvio!
Yes! Woo! Let's go, guys!
Vamos.
That's Mayan's roaring.
That's a win.
Congratulations to Silvio, who flew his heart out there and got the win for STT in that race. But Mayans is cheering because his team made it 5 points all. They're going to win this matchup. What a battle that was. Valprim was nearly running off with it on lap number 2. He was so quick through here. But you'll see after this turn, he's side onto this gate. Didn't manage to slip it through. That took him out of the race completely. Oh, Silvio ahead of Mayan by about 1/4 of a second, but on points, it's Raiden Racing who get the big win at the top of the table by the narrowest of margins over their closest rivals in 2024. Now it's our other matchup for day 7, Quad Force 1 against China Dragons, Propsicle and Amari against Creator Gamer and Gabri. What you've got here in Propsicle in blue and Creator Gamer in orange are 2 very experienced pilots for their respective teams, whereas Amari is new for Quad Force 1 and Gabri is new to China Dragons. A little bit wobbly from Creator Gamer there, and he's going to have to absolutely nail this because in front of him is one of the very best pilots we have, Propsicle, the captain of Quad Force 1 and last year's Pilot of the Year for the whole of 2023. Good, smooth flying already, although not perfect from him, and Gabri's going to have a bit of a go. He's right next to him on the inside of the drop under the bridge, but it's still Propsicle just there. Can Gabri get him into the slalom? Well, Propsicle's great here, and he's still great, but look at that. Gabri is with him all the way, slightly above him throughout lap number 2. It's going to be Propsicle making the dive just ahead of Gabri by 1/10 of a second. But what good flying from the new China Dragons pilot who was on the DCL wildcard team last year. Duck the hurdle, around the government building, into the car park. Propsicle just a little bit smoother throughout. That's what he does, he just makes it a little bit better than everybody else. Oh no, Propsicle, my commentator's curse has nailed him. Creator Gamer passed him into second. Gabri Prince is in the lead. Oh, and Propsicle is over 2 seconds behind. I dare you to count him out though. Gabri Prince halfway through this race. A little bit awkward on that approach. Bounced off the inside of the closed air gate to start lap number 3. Keeps the lead just ahead of his teammate Creator Gamer. Oh, but what's that we spy? Propsicle is back. Of course he is. Over the rooftops. Into Fox here now. He's moved past Creator Gamer already. Gabri Prince, you've got him coming for you now. You better have this ready. He's past where Propsicle crashed earlier on. So is Prop. Now through the block trade duo. It's all good. It's about 0.8 of a second between them for now, but I think that gap is just fractionally closing all the time. Gabri into the slalom. Propsicle gonna pursue him, and he's gonna really want to get back in front of him, but is Gabri getting away? There might be a little bit more space between the two of them, but it might not last for long. Here comes Propsicle onto the final lap. 0.6 behind Gabri. This section is so difficult. Over the top of the building, and now coming around, and Gabri's bounced it on the ground. Oh, he's got a little bit deep on the Fox here turn after he skimmed the ground, and Propsicle is back in the lead. Now, not many pilots can catch Propsicle at this late stage of the race, but Gabri is putting up a fair fight here. It's about 0.6 between them. Here's the drop under the bridge. That's nice and confident from Gabri. But Propsicle has scrapped and fought his way through this one, and he's going to pick up another win.
Yes!
Sit down, kid.
Gosh, Prop, you're so good.
Another win for Propsicle as he tells him to sit down. Oh, he enjoyed that win and he really fought for it. Propsicle nearly gave it all away after, well, maybe my commentator's curse put him into the Parliament wall. Here's Gabri just bouncing off the ground, just then going too deep on Fox here. And Propsicle stayed in front of him, but what a chase. So now Leviathan and Hyper will take on Ion and Mojo. It's 5 points all. First and fourth to Quad Force 1 in the last race. Second and third belongs to China Dragons. That gets you 5 points each. China Dragons have to outscore Quad Force 1 by some margin if they want to get out of this 6th or 5th place elimination bracket playoff that they currently find themselves in when we go to Abu Dhabi very soon. China Dragons need to pick up a lot of points in this second race and in the big heat. And Ion is at the front currently with Leviathan just behind him. There's Levi's route over the rooftops, just trying to cut on the inside of Ion there. Nice early challenges from him, but Ion is flying nicely out in front and is the first one into this massive slalom. Where are third and fourth? Hyper in third, Mojo in fourth, way behind already. Ion leads us to St. Florence Cathedral and starts lap number 2 with Leviathan gaining on him a little bit, about 0.7 between them. Oh, it's so tight this section. Under that hurdle, no! Leviathan is out on the ground. Oh, that hurdle wrecked his line there and he's lost a ton of time. Bad recovery from Leviathan. Hyper is his teammate in second place. Mason Lively racing for Quad Force 1. And you can see it's good and it's quick, it's just not quite as perfectly smooth in some places we saw earlier from pilots like Silvio, or indeed Propsicle when he was threading it together. IQ0 doing great lines earlier for Raiden Racing as well. There's Ion. Hyper still in second and about 2.5 seconds behind him with half a race to go. That is a lot to do with half a race to go. You'll just catch the little tail, just a little glimpse of Ion here and there. Although that's slightly different into the first of the Foxeer duo there. That was just a slightly more direct approach for Ion. It's worked. I've occasionally seen him fly something a little bit different to everybody else. And just find a little bit here and there. Oh, Hyper rolls it onto the deck in Verdutz. And Ion not having it all his own way out in front too. If he hadn't had that crash, I don't think he'd be anywhere in sight of Hyper. And his route through the slalom is not that tidy. Hyper's on the charge. We're basically in the same position we were 1 lap ago when Hyper crashed. He must have thought, that's it. There's no way I'll catch Ion now. But look, Ion is not too far ahead of you after his bump too. Now just watch Ion out of this turn. Yes, just a little straighter to that Foxeer gate than we've seen other pilots do. And while I think Ion was slower in the recovery than Hyper, because he had a bigger crash, I think he's maybe shaking it off a bit faster than Hyper as well, because the gap has got bigger in the wrong direction for Quad Force 1. That was good flying from both of the pilots though. Not much clearance, trying to make everything as tight and as fast as possible. And now down the main street here in Vaduz with about 2.5 seconds over Hyper. Ion gets his win for China Dragons. Hyper is second. Leviathan was in a fight a long time ago, but he's going to limp home in third. And congratulations to Ion. That's an important win for him and a tricky race for everybody involved. On lap 2, Leviathan was just trying to push and catch the leader, but watch out. Ducking under the hurdle after this turn. Not quite low enough into the walls of the castle edges. Ion rolling around on the steps of the car park, but then rolling around in a finish gate at the end where he needs to be. All 8 pilots for the DCL Big Heat. 4 laps. This could be quite chaotic, and it's 10 points all. Definitely not the score China Dragons needed. Let's see what happens on our climb up. Amari was doing well on the way up there. Just coming out a little bit slower than everybody else by the bottom, possibly not quite as direct all the way through. Those 2 blue drones, that's Propsicle and Hyper for Quad Force 1 ahead of Creator Gamer, who's just a bit wobbly everywhere. What about over the roof here? He's having to adjust loads. He only just made it through that difficult gate. That was untidy for Creator Gamer. It's cost him a few tenths of a second. He's still in 4th though. Gabri has just slipped past him. Hyper's in 2nd. And that drone in front of him is Propsicle. Hyper through the trees. I don't think I've seen anybody get caught out on the trees. He only just made it through, and Gabri is now very close to him. Propsicle a few tenths ahead of everybody. There's a bit of a scrap looming between Gabri and Hyper for 2nd and 3rd, and Gabri's got past Hyper for now. There's one drone, there's the 2nd. Hyper slips past him now into the Foxeer duo. This is good from Hyper, just trying to keep ahead of Gabri, and he will manage to make it. That's a better turn. This is the lead. That's Propsicle's corkscrewing over the rooftop. Got to tidy everything up. Let's see the Propsicle we know and love, and this is looking much better from him. Hyper is in a real problem. Hit the road after the duck under the bridge, and China Dragons pass him in the 2nd and 3rd and 4th. Propsicle a little bit too far away for any of them to catch him yet, without also Propsicle having a bit of a crash and helping them out. But Hyper is now in a scrap with Ion around the last of the scoring positions. This is 2nd place, now 3rd. Gabri's been passed by his teammate, that's Creator Gamer, but where's Propsicle? They can barely see him. Just coming off of the rooftops there. This man is trying to show us what he can do in a really tidy, fast race. This is so much better from Propsicle, and he is so far ahead. But this is the situation that I have talked about so many times in Split 1 of 2024 and also throughout last year's 2023 splits and seasons of the World Championship. Propsicle is winning races back to back to back, even when he makes loads of mistakes like we saw him do in the race just now. His teammates, though, they keep coming in 4th. Propsicle gets the 4 points, his teammates keep getting 1. It ends up being a 5-all race again and again. It was never this one-sided on Quad Force 1. They were always much more of an even team. Propsicle seems to be flying so well. The rest of his teammates, some newer ones, some also long-term experienced ones, they're just not keeping up with him. Fortunately for them, neither are any of the other pilots. There's Propsicle with yet another win, but it's China Dragon 2nd and 3rd, and Hyper's going to hold on to 4th.
Come on. Oh, we tried Quad Force. Oh, okay, well, 42, come on.
I've never seen him react like that. Clearly frustration showing on Propsicle there. Creator Gamer was willing his team on to try and get 4th place as well, but it's just not enough points for them. Creator Gamer just a bit shaky throughout that. Propsicles, look how clean that is. Okay, Hyper, that's a big old crash. Was in 2nd. Crash ruined it for him. It's a draw. 15 points for Quad Force 1, 15 points for China Dragons. It's a perfect draw as every matchup was 5 points all. Propsicle, Ion, and then Propsicle again were the winners of the races. Elsewhere on race day 7, Cyclone Racing made a quick job of the wildcard team and beat them 21 points to 9. So the standings for the Split 1 finals look like this. Raiden Racing are our #1 seed after their big win over STT earlier, who had been top of the leaderboard for so long. Then Cyclone Racing and Quad Force 1 keep hold of 4th. That puts those teams into the main round. China Dragons were 6th, the DCL wildcard team 5th. They start off in the elimination zone. Everybody in the main round gets 2 lives. The elimination teams, the China Dragons DCL wildcard team, just 1 life each, so nobody can afford to lose a race from that stage. I'm Matt Andrews, we're the DCL. Join us to find out who's our Split 1 champion when we bring you this.